First of all, how many of you in the audience are influencers right now? Show of hands. Okay, almost all of you. So one thing I can assure you, right, from the past to the present to the future, the influencer industry is going to be 100x of what it is today. I've invested in about 9 companies in the creator economy influencer space. And I generally believe, so I was talking to Shruti earlier and she mentioned she earns X amount of money today. I said in the next 5 years, she'll be earning 10x of that, right? I can almost guarantee it. So I'll tell you what the reasons for that is and how this industry is, evolving, right? So just imagine, right, 25 years ago, a Shah Rukh Khan, in a way, needed Filmfare. He would actually use his contacts to make sure that he's on the cover, he's in the papers, and there were a lot of people who were investing a lot of money to be on Bombay Times, etc. But if you look at it today, the total circulation of Times of India as a group is 3 million, right? They claim that 5 people read the newspapers in each household, which we know they don't. It's still 15 million. Today, Virat would have 211 million followers or 225 million followers, right? If you take the top 1,000 people in India, if you just take the followers they have today, that would be 10x, 100x, 1000x the reach of any publication in the country. Just look at the field of advertising, right? The advertising field is about $700 billion globally, 70, 80,000 crores in India, right? That is generally 2% of sales. So generally what happens is you spend $100 to sell a product, you spend 2% of that on advertising. That 2% has created $700 billion and basically companies like trillion-dollar companies like Google, just from that 2%. Imagine if you're an influencer and you're going to sell some product, right? And the margin is 30%. Would I be investing 5%, 10% of that into selling the product or not? So if you look at it, if I spend 10%, that's 5x of advertising, that's $3.5 trillion. That's how big the industry is going to become. So a lot of people ask me, oh, is it going to take away from advertising? Actually, they don't. So many times what happens is when new technologies come in, they grow the market. So let me give you an example. When Uber was launched in California, and the total market size of taxi services in California was $50 million. Then what happened when Uber came in, and they obviously had projections, they said, oh, you know what, even if they capture 20%, 25%, 50% of taxi market, it'll be $25 million. 3 years hence, Uber was $200 million in California. So taxis market went from 50 million to 40 million, so it reduced a bit, but the rest 190 million was created out of thin air. That's what if you look at the influencer marketing is going to be. So if you look at it today, right, when you do advertising, it's a cost of sale. So what happens is, it comes in the profit and loss account as a cost of sale. Sorry, it comes as an advertising expense. When you sell a product and you are spending any money to sell the product, then it becomes the cost of sale. Cost of sale has no limitations. If somebody wants to spend $1 billion, as long as he can sell $10 billion worth of product, it's no longer an expense. It's a cost of sales, so there is no infinite potential of how much money people can spend, right? The way I look at this industry growing, right, I think the key thing out here is that what Faisal spoke about, right? Find something that you have passions for. So I'll give you an example. My daughter is a dancer. She's got about 480,000 followers on Instagram. Again, she's all of 19 years old. So it's scary at times when she earns 10, 12 lakh rupees a month, because as a father, I was trying to teach her value of money. And that, obviously, they say in the Hindi, right? Gayi bhais pani mein. There is nothing I can do about it now because she gets 3 lakh rupees to attend a party. And I think to myself that, like, dude, what have I done wrong in my life? But, you know, that's what the potential is, right? And I've seen this industry grow. I saw her growth happening from 5 lakhs, or let's say 50,000 rupees to 1 lakh rupees to 2 lakh rupees to 10 lakh rupees. I said, dude, this has happened in 1.5 years. I better get into this space. So I invested in about 35 odd companies, but out of them, 9 or 10 of them are in the creator economy space. And then the opportunities in every single part of it. There is SaaS software for influencer marketing. There is going to be content creation, that marketplace for influencers. If you just look at it, you know, Faisal mentioned D2C, right? The D2C market in India is $100 billion, right? $100 billion. If you take any celebrity in the world who's worth $1 billion today, anybody, they have actually not created that billion from the craft, right? They didn't create it from sports. They didn't create it from whatever they made them famous. Right? They have actually created by owning brands, because they found that the best way to reach the consumers is actually through content creation and using a brand to reach the consumer. So look at Kanye West and Yeezy, look at Kylie Jenner, look at even Jordan, right? My daughter used to buy Jordans and she didn't know who Michael Jordan was. So at one point in time, that brand becomes you and you become the brand. But just imagine, every single billionaire in the world has created money by creating a D2C brand. So imagine for as an influencer, the scope that you have, once your followers grow, the reach that you have, will be bigger than publishing. Today, Times of India has 3,000 crores of revenue with 3 million circulation, right? That's the amount of money a publisher can earn today. But imagine if you have 3 million followers, right? You should be getting a significant part of that 3,000 crores. So if you're not making 300 crores, you're doing something wrong, right? That's what the potential of the industry is going to become. Now, this industry is going to get affected by a lot of things. I think first thing is, how many of the people in this room has tried out and played with DALL-E or ChatGPT-3? Okay, that's really surprising, right? So what I would recommend is, we can take one takeaway from my talk today. Please go home and play around with ChatGPT-3. ChatGPT-3, right? So it's a company called OpenAI. Right? Elon Musk and Sam Walton, I think, started it. And again, it's grown from zero to $29 billion in valuation, and Microsoft is going to put in $10 billion in it. So content creation is going to change dramatically because of advent of AI. So AI is going to help you create content at scale. It's going to allow you to think of thoughts that you never had because it gives you ideas. DALL-E and like sort of generative software like Fusion, and there are a lot of softwares which allow you to create videos. So basically what's going to happen is, so a lot of times people say, oh, this is something which I do. What if AI starts doing it? So I'll just give you one example of how technology evolves and how things change, right? So let's take anybody in this room who's seen Tom and Jerry cartoons? Okay, there is some people who have seen it, okay? So just imagine, right? Tom and Jerry, if it was created today, when it was created 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 1,000 people worked on creating Tom and Jerry. Today, with the current software available, 2 people can create Tom and Jerry. That's it. You can create the entire cartoon with 2 people. But the problem is, we don't create Tom and Jerry anymore. We create Shrek. Shrek still requires 1,000 people. So the way I look at it is, right, that if you take the best chess players in the world, is actually not AI, neither are they humans. They have a term called centaurs, where basically humans and AI come together, play as a team, and they are the ones who are the best chess players in the world. So what's going to happen is, humans are not going to compete with AI. They're going to use it, right? So let's say, if you take cars, right? We don't have a marathon against a car. We don't have a weightlifting competition against a forklift. When they become superior to us, we start learning how to use that technology to become better. So if you want to create Tom and Jerry today, you don't have a future. But if you want to create Shrek, then using technology to create Shrek is what's going to happen. So what's going to happen is, if you can speak in one language, can you use AI to create the same content in 25 languages? Click of a button. If you have expertise in a certain area, can you use AI to also build expertise in some other areas? Can you use it to create videos that are far superior than what videos you're creating today? Can you change the background? Can you create images that don't exist? So you can say a panda riding a Harley Davidson on DALL-E, and it'll create a panda riding a Harley Davidson. So just imagine, right? All this content we're creating, if we have the power of these things in our hands and learn how to use it quickly before anybody else does, surprisingly, this is the biggest thing that's happened in the field of technology, and less than 10% of people have even played around with it, let alone lose it, right? So the future is, so the way exponential technologies work is, right? Exponential technologies where 1 becomes 2 becomes 3 becomes, instead of that, 1 becomes 2 becomes 4. And the difference, let me explain to you, right? Let's say we all have these books lying in front of us, right? Imagine we were supposed to fold the piece of paper that we have. We fold it once, twice, thrice. Imagine that you fold it, let's say, 100 times, right? And the paper is possible to fold it 100 times. How high do you think the paper will become? Will it reach the roof of this room, just 100 folds? Right? Most likely not, right? How many people feel that it will reach the roof of this building? Right? Anybody? So, okay, so one person probably knows the answer, right? So just imagine, right? What if I told you that when you fold a paper 100 times, it basically is almost 50 to 100 light years away, or 100 billion light years away. It's almost the end of the universe, just by 100 folds. Because what happens is, whenever you fold it, 1 becomes 2, becomes 4, becomes 8. So when you extrapolate it 100 times, imagine the thickness of the paper. So that's what the biggest problem with exponential technologies is. We underestimate the rate of growth of the technology. And influencer marketing and creator economy is one of those technologies, right? You said you grew 1,000%, but you may grow 1,000% for the next 10 years, right? That's where the potential is. Imagine the automotive industry, right? There is a huge amount of money they spend on advertising, and we can get a share of it, 1% of it, 2% of it, 5% of it, and that's what it's going to be, right? Because if I'm buying a car, I don't want to talk to the dealer or the person who has no knowledge of the car trying to sell me a car, right? I'd rather talk to somebody. So just imagine, right? When I used to buy technology 25 years ago, right? I'm one of those guys who's old. So I would give this guy a call who was my electronics dealer and say, Naya kya aaya hai? What should I buy? So he'll say, I've got this pen drive, which is 1 GB, whatever XYZ, right? I don't buy it. Then 10 years ago, I would tell him that I'm planning to buy this. What do you suggest? Last 10 years, last 3 years, I don't give him a call to ask him anything. I know more about tech than what he does. I'll say, I'm getting a Samsung Fold 4. I'm getting it for this much price on Amazon and Flipkart. Can you give it cheaper? Right? That's about it. So his influence on me has become zero. He cannot influence me what to buy. But an influencer can. If there is a review by an influencer who's credible, he tells me the difference between that should I upgrade from 3 to 4, and he convinces not to, or should I will believe him. So he's the one who's selling Samsung for me and millions of other people like me. So he's the one who should get paid rather than the sales guy or a newspaper in a way. Because you can never explain, because the problem with advertising is not credible. Influencer marketing is credible, right? Faisal is passionate about cars. When he talks about a car, even if the car manufacturer is paying him, he's going to speak what he feels like. And that's what brands have to accept, right? If they have a problem, probably the influencer is going to say there is a problem.